Hello. In this NCERT history series, now we'll move on to the next chapter, When People Rebel. In the previous chapters, we have seen how British have made authoritative policies and imposed very harsh rules on the people of India, on all the categories of people. So, example, peasants, if we take, they imposed high land revenues and they took all the agricultural produce and they were forced to grow plantations, as we have seen tea plantations, indigo plantations, right? So, all of these were the harsh rules imposed on peasants. And army, we will see in the next part what were the harsh rules imposed on army in the British. Then on kingdoms, if we see, they were policies like subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse, right? What is subsidiary alliance? The company provides military and protection to the kingdom, and the kingdom has to pay revenue and return. This was the policy of subsidiary alliance. And what is doctrine of lapse? If the king doesn't have an immediate male successor, then the kingdom will be annexed. This was the case of doctrine of lapse. So, what was the first kingdom that was annexed through? That was subsidiary alliance was imposed. Awadh. So Awadh was as the first kingdom that subsidiary alliance has been imposed. Okay, but later on, Awadh was also annexed because of misruling. So Britishers claimed that Awadh was not being ruled properly by the rulers, so they have annexed Awadh. This has created anger in the people of India. And doctrine of lapse, we see when there is no male successor. So when you take the case of Kanpur, so Nana Sahib was the successor of Peshwa, so he did not get the pension of his father. We're saying that he was the adopted son and not the immediate male successor. So he was denied that particular right. And Jhansi was annexed because the king and queen were not having a male successor, and they adopted a child, and adopted child was not accepted by the Britishers, and Jhansi was annexed. And we take and they during that time, Lord Canning was the Governor General of Bengal. So, India. So, Governor General Lord Canning, so he told that the Mughal ruler is going to end, and Bahadur Shah Zafar, who was the then ruling Mughal emperor, so they said Bahadur Shah Zafar will be the last Mughal emperor. His descendants will not be taken the throne, right? Only the Mughal rule is going to end. This is what Lord Canning told. So this was also an important thing what Lord Canning has said. So Bahadur Shah Zafar will be the last Mughal ruler. So we have seen they have imposed harsh rules on army. What are the harsh rules? So in Indian culture, there was a belief in olden days that when a person crosses the sea, they lose their religion and caste. So as army Indian peasants were, well, we have seen that there's a term called Sepoy army. So what is Sepoy army? The Indian peasants are trained and recruited in the British army. So Indians are also working in the British army. So and Indians had a rule or had a belief that if they cross the sea, they will lose their religion and caste. It is not advised to cross the sea. But these sepoys who were there, they were advised or they were ordered to go overseas for wars or anything. So whatever the wars Britain fought, they used to send these sepoys, and for that they have to cross the seas and go on to other country. So they had a belief that they should not cross sea, but these people are sending them overseas. So that was a religious belief that they lose their religion and caste. So this was something it came into conflict. And when they worked in other place around and not in, so basically they work in a place, right? If they are posted to other place, they are not given any other extra expenses, or it's called bata as we say in Hindi term. So that was also not given. So that also angered the soldiers, so they were not given any extra amount if they are posted in some other place without giving any necessities. Okay. And we've seen there were cultural reforms during the 19th century. So Example Sati, right? Raja Ram Mohan Roy and started revolution and he reform movements. So he made to abolish Sati. It's a very good step taken by the British that to abolish Sati. But what happened? Indians were disheartened and they felt very uncomfortable because Britishers were outsiders, and they felt why Britishers as outsiders are coming and changing the rules of Hindus and Hinduism, and why are they involving in the Indian culture. This was something that Indians felt very uncomfortable. Okay, even though it is a good step, they felt uncomfortable that Britishers have made changes in the Indian system. Okay. Educational reforms. So English medium schools have come. The vernacular medium was not so popular, and all the missionaries have come. Right. So this also simmered a kind of discontent among people because the education system was also changed by the British. Okay. So these were all happening one after the other, for the peasants, for the army, for the kingdoms, and for the Mughal against the Mughal rulers, and for the mainly army in the overseas, and they're not given bata, and the cultural reform, the interference in the cultural and educational reforms. Okay, this was all happening in this particular period. So there was a one particular incident which was a spark to this revolt. So soldiers use this gun, right? To load the gun, they used to have cartridges. Okay, they have the cartridges, right? They have to bite the cartridges before loading into the gun. Okay, they have to bite it with their mouth. So they used to do it for several. They were doing it for several years and months, but they have seen that they have got to know that the cartridge is made up of cow and pig meat. So they were biting it literally. When you see, cow is holy to Hindus, right? And pig is a taboo to Muslims. So for both of the communities, it was unsacred to bite the cartridge which contained cow and pig meat. So this was a spark where they all of the people, all of the army got very furious and they started the revolt. Who started the revolt? Mangal Pandey. So Mangal Pandey in 1857, he started firing and he killed an officer in the Barakpur. Okay, so that was a starting point of the revolt. Slowly it went to all the regiments, right? And all the people, all the sepoys have started attacking their officers. So this particular thing is called as sepoy mutiny. That means sepoys are what is a mutiny? It means the army officers are being attacked by the soldiers, right? The officers are attacked by the soldiers, maybe disobeying them or attacking them physically or any kind of thing. So that is called mutiny. So that was a sepoy mutiny. The famous sepoy mutiny started in the year 1857 by Mangal Pandey. Okay, then. So what was the response? So he started in Barakpur. So what was the response? So people from all the sepoys from all the regiments, they came and they marched towards jails and they released all the sepoys over there, right? And they started attacking all the British officers whomever they see. Okay, this was the response. And sepoys from Meerut marched and they moved to Delhi. And what happened? Bahadur Shah Zafar was again put on to throne. So they requested Bahadur Shah and they put him onto throne and they declared Bahadur Shah Zafar as king of, again, emperor of India. So this was again the Mughals have got into picture again. So they felt India is to be under the control of Mughals. So when India is in the control of Mughals, every other province will also get its own power. So in this way, they kept Mughals on the power. So Bahadur Shah Zafar was also again placed on throne. So it spread to Kanpur and Lucknow. So from Kanpur, Nana Sahib came right? He marched towards, he joined the revolt from Lucknow. Bijis Kadir came to join the revolt. Rani Lakshmi Bai from Jhansi joined the revolt, and Rani Avanti Bai Lodi from Ramgarh joined the revolt. So these are the two famous Indian female freedom fighters: Rani Lakshmi Bai from Jhansi, Rani Avanti Bai Lodi from Ramgarh. Right. Ahmadullah Shah was a Maulvi from Faizabad, and Jhansi Lakshmibai, with the help of Tantia Tope, fought against British, and General Bakht Khan from Bareilly and Kunwar Singh from Bihar. These were the important personalities who joined the revolt from their respective places. So British were not calm. They had to go on with their oppressive principles to stop the revolt. So how did that happen? British started marching with their own set of soldiers, and Rani Lakshmi Bai was killed in the battle, and same Rani Avanti Bai was also later on killed, and then Nana Sahib flee away to some places, and Tantya Tope also flee to forest, but later he was caught and executed in the forest, and everyone were defeated, and all those revolt was suppressed, right? So this suppressed the revolt of 1857, but it remains important in the history of India, because it was they say it is the first war of Indian independence, or it is the first war that all the Indians have come forward to revolt against the mighty superpower of British. Right. So what happened after the revolt? So after the revolt, so everything got settled and the British acquired all the power once again. But knowing this, the British government in England thought there should be some change made in the system, otherwise these revolts will go on happen. So what they have done? So till then, company was ruling India. Like we have seen, East India Company was ruling India, right? But after 1858, an act was passed, and what happened? The company rule changed to crown rule. That means now company is not going to rule the country. Crown, direct, the British crown is responsible for the ruling of India. Okay, whatever is there will go to the British crown. So company rule got changed to crown rule after the 1857 revolt. In 1858 onwards, company rule was abolished and crown rule has got started. So British queen was directly responsible for the ruling of India, and all the decisions were also taken by her. So they established a Secretary of State, right? And they also established a council where it has some members, and it was of advisory or advisory nature, right? They gave advisors to the Secretary of State. Secretary of State was appointed by the British government, and he was the person of British Parliament, British Cabinet. Okay, they appointed British cabinet member as Secretary of State to India, and a council to advise him on issues. And till then we had Governor General of India, right? So from 1858, Governor General became the Viceroy. Now they started calling us Viceroy. It means he directly comes under the British Crown. So Viceroy, the Governor General became Viceroy in 1850. From 1858, we have a term Viceroy instead of Governor General. So who was the first Viceroy of India? He was Lord Canning. Okay. Then, so it mainly got the term of direct responsibility. So who is responsible? Crown was responsible. Before who was responsible? Company was responsible. After 1857 revolt, Crown was responsible. So they assumed direct responsibility of India. Right. And they have made several changes so as to cool down the temper of Indians. Okay. So what were those? They said no further annexation of any kingdoms will be carried out. So they annexed many kingdoms like Bengal, Bombay, Madras, Awadh, Jhansi, Satara, Kanpur. So all these were annexed, right? So from then they have decided that no further annexation will be carried out. You can continue with your own provinces. Okay, but you will be under the rule of British Queen. You can rule your own provinces, but you will be under us. Okay, so doctrine of lapse, which was there, that was also abolished. No annexation will be carried out. And Indian soldiers, the recruitment of Indian soldiers got down because of the mutiny and all those revolt and the fierceness of Indian soldiers. So they have reduced the number of Indian soldiers in the British army. and instead they have taken recruited these people, so Gurkhas, Pathans, and Sikhs, because they were known to be very loyal to the Britishers. So they have recruited Gurkhas, Pathans, and Sikhs, and they reduced the number of Indian soldiers in the British army, and they confiscated the properties of Muslims. Why? Because they felt Muslims were also one of the reason for this revolt. So they were the one who started this revolt and polluted everyone, and so they took the properties of Muslims, and they were not treated well. And respect religious practices, as we have seen, they were sati was abolished, right, and also some educational practices and all were also reformed, right. So uh, from and the Indians were angry on it, right, because Britishers are interfering in the Indian matters. So from here on they said, we are not going to interfere in any of your religious practices. Whatever you wish to do, you can do. So they did not go for any reforms or any such things. So they gave respect to religious practices and also education practices. And then landlords. So people who were loyal, who did not join the 1857 revolt, the landlords and the moneylenders, whoever were there, and the zamindars, so they were given extra properties and they were given extra gifts and all, so that they could be loyal again for a very long time. So this is about 1857 revolt and what happened after 1857 and the 1858 company rule and crown rule. So the changes in the political system of India after a big revolt. We'll meet in the next video.